Hey there, folks. This is Charles here at Vigilant Truth. We're going to take a look at this North Carolina bathroom bill, the so-called anti-LGBT bathroom bill. That's people are making a big deal about. There's a lot of talk about it. It's being lambasted all over the media and all over the news, saying that this is meant to discriminate against, trannies and homos and all those people. Let's go ahead and take a look at this little news clip and get an idea of what this bill is all about.
Democrats left their seats in the Senate chamber before the vote was taken.
We're not participating in this effort.
If it reverses 40 plus years of progress in ending discrimination in North Carolina.
The Public Facilities Privacy and Security Act is a reaction to a decision made by the City Council in Charlotte. It allowed transgender people to use public restrooms based on their gender identity.
The adoption of the ordinance by the City Council of Charlotte was just crazy.
Republicans say that ordinance violates religious freedom and puts women and children in danger.
Allows grown men to share bathrooms and locker facilities with girls and women.
This new bill requires people to use the bathroom that corresponds with the gender on their birth certificate. But Senate Minority Leader Dan Blue says it does much more than that. Gays and lesbians are excluded from discrimination protections. He says it also eliminates recourse for anyone fired from their job based on race, religion, color, age, or handicap.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there. What he just reported on right there was that last statement about how they're concerned that, it's not giving people equal protection. Newsflash, everybody has equal protection under the law, under state and federal laws. You cannot be fired from your job or discriminated against based on your race, your gender, your sexual orientation, religious beliefs, any of that. What kind of car you drive, whether you like the Cowboys or the 49ers. I know I'm joking, obviously, but on those last two, but we have equal protection under the law. And go ask any lawyer. Anybody with any common sense nowadays realizes that if they fire somebody because they're black or they're Hispanic or anything like that, it's lawsuit time. It is lawsuit city. You are in litigation heaven. Those lawyers are going to be all over that. And so, we don't need any more laws passed to protect people. It's just, that's absurd. But okay, they seem to have a valid concern here that, we don't want men going into the women's room when there are little girls, when there are children, or your mother or your grandmother. Really, women, this is meant to protect women more than anything else, because I don't see this being an issue so much with transgendered women going into the men's room. Because let's be honest, most of those lesbos and most of those trannies are, they hate men. They're misogynophobes. They hate men. They're scared of them. They don't want anything to do with them. Okay, we're going to take a look now at this so-called reverend, this female reverend from Pullen Memorial Baptist Church. And we're going to take a look at her, and then right after she talks, I'm going to show you why a woman has no place at the head of a church. But let's go ahead and hear what she has to say about it.
Yeah, I heard in the news that Mississippi had just passed a similar law that was worse than North Carolina. And my first reaction was, how can it be worse than what's happening in North Carolina? And I just think, whether it's Mississippi, whether it's North Carolina,
shocker,
wherever,
NIV Bible,
Georgia, wherever
James.
These things are taking place and people are pushing this agenda, the time has passed in our country and in our world for us to not respect diversity. And this whole notion of standing behind religious beliefs, to deny people their basic human rights is not what this country was founded on.
Companies that
okay. First of all, how dare you call yourself a reverend and, be the leader of a church and accuse people of hiding behind religion and hiding behind the Bible and being in opposition to this. How dare you? You know, that's the argument. We've got plenty of people, you know, in the liberal media and some in the conservative media and, you know, atheists and all that are constantly, oh, you Christians, you hide behind the Bible, blah, 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 and you know, give me a break. I mean, first of all, if you call yourself reverend, I mean, that is a pretentious, I mean, any real Baptist church you go to, it's called a pastor. It's called a Baptist pastor, and it's supposed to be a man. And I'm going to prove that to you right now with the King James Bible. First, let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Now that, starting off, needs a little bit of context. It's talking specifically in the church, in that context. And we can go down and get a little more context. You know, before that, verse 11, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. So when you're in church, you're there to learn, and the women, during the service, are supposed to be silent. And it gives you, you know, a reason why. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. So the man was not, you know, this goes all the way back to the Garden of Eden and God's roles for the man and for the woman that he's created for us. Now we can go get a little more specific from 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 34, which reads, let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak. But they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law, meaning the law of the Old Testament, the Mosaic law. So it's a commandment. This is a direct commandment from God. They are to be, you know, women are silent in the churches when it's service time, during the sermon, it's learning time. And we can get some more context if we go down. You know, right after that verse I read you, in verse 35, it says, and if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for women to speak in the church. Now, people are going to want to take that out of context and say that means that I'm trying to say that, oh, second the woman sets foot in the church, she can't say anything. That's not what we mean. It's not talking about fellowshipping before and after the service. And, you know, this is talking about during the service, it's learning time. It's time to be quiet. And if the woman has any questions about anything, she should wait till she gets home and ask her husband about it. Which, you know, I know a lot of you women out there are going to just, you know, think that, whoa, that's way out of line. But that's what the Bible says. Either you believe the Bible or you don't. And if you don't believe the Bible, please don't call yourself a Christian. But, you know, once again, we see under the banner of equal rights and tolerance and yada, 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 we see our society being transformed again to the point where, you know, it's okay. Because, first of all, what connotates someone being transgendered? Hey, I'm transgendered. Hey, I decide I'm transgender today. I want to go into the women's bathroom and check out what's going on in there. I mean, is there any... I mean, do I have to look like a woman first? I mean, let's get down to a real issue too. Is, you know, if you can pass yourself off as a woman, why, I don't think it should be a problem. If no one can tell you're a woman, walk into the women's bathroom, use it, walk out. What's the big deal? I mean, honestly, the only problem with this law is I'm not really sure how they would enforce it. I mean, it's not like they can go around checking people's birth certificates, and it's, of course, totally unconstitutional and wrong for them to go, you know, digging around in people's pants or whatever to see what kind of equipment they're carrying down there. But anyway, I just needed to address this since, like I said, this is a big story in the news lately, so I appreciate you sticking with me, and please check out my other videos and subscribe if you can. Thank you.